Just go for whatever you want to be, you be it. Because no one can stop you if you want to be it.
You got to speak what your heart tells you.
Be responsible for your actions. Build up a belief in yourself.
Listen. While you're listening, you're learning.
You don't have to look outside of yourself to find happiness.
Everyone makes mistakes, so we put up with the mistakes, but you've also got to get out of your mistakes and roll the dice.
To be kind, to be gentle, and to get back to nature. I'd be saying that to my grandchildren when they come.
Follow me, and I will bring you home.
We lived off the land mostly, and them days government hand out the rations. But through those days you learn to appreciate everything that you have in life. One thing I did appreciate is my family, my belief and values, spirituality and respect.
I didn't grow up with my birth mum, but I was lucky that Mum I did grow up with. She so much love and affection, and I was the youngest of 9 kids growing up, so I got the most love, I think, because I was a little one. And I often think I can still look at the sad side of that, and I acknowledge the little, the sad side. But then I want to acknowledge what I did have. I had all that love and affection, and so many brothers and sisters, and take that with me, all those good things that I got, and pass it on to my kids.
Well, my mum reckons that I was born with the ability to cope, because she said that even when I was at school or wherever, whatever happened in my life, I've always been able to cope, and I've had good resilience to the world.
I had a rough life living in the bush, and we foraged for gold to survive, and we lived 12 miles out of Tabulum, and we had to walk in a Tabulum every 2 weeks to get rations those days, and it was a very hard life. But what I would do, I'd go out and hunt and gather all day, even from a young age, about 5 or 6.
In the bush, we used to just run wild. We'd know where all the tracks were. We'd be climbing trees all the time. We'd be knowing where everything was, from the ants' nests to where the snakes are, whatever. Making traps, climbing trees, living in trees, playing on the big logs, just loving nature, sitting down playing with a whole bunch of baby frogs, seeing where the cicadas are shedding their outer shell, and just constantly running around and playing in the bush with each other. Coming from a big family, you always had someone to entertain you. And then when the elders came, we'd just sit around with the elders and have a meal, and they'd start singing, talking, and we'd just shut up and listen. It was just the best thing. And then we'd all end up sleeping in front of the fire together. They were the good times.
When we were young down Cabbage John on the mission, we used to have dances, but the only thing is we never had bands. We had someone who hit the spoons together, played the spoons and banged on drums or whatever we had. That's what we danced to. We had fun. That's all it amounted up to. It didn't matter what sort of music it was. And that's the way we made the music and had fun. And I think if you can want fun, you go and make it yourself. Don't wait for people come to hand it onto you on a platter.
The younger generation, well, they've got a better start than what it was way back for the 50s and back further than that. A lot of my friends, we've turned out to be role models for our families, and we didn't have a start for education.
All I learned at school was to write my name, add up sums, and read. And that was all. Only those three things. When I got out in the big bad world, and I remember somebody coming up to me and talking to me about geography, you know. And I said, I haven't heard of that. And this is a common thing, you know. And that's what I say, like I didn't learn anything there when I go to school, but it's when I got out there to the big bad world that I did learn.
I keep telling my family, I said, you get your education and also follow it. If you cannot, you not succeed, keep trying.
Make sure you get your education, and that's what's important. Without that education, there's no jobs.
You got to have education. It's the most important thing in life, is to be educated. And while you're being educated, take notice of what's going on and think of what you want to do in life, you know.
The ones who don't have a go, well, I don't think they've got much of a life to look forward to if they don't have a go. Their life will just go downhill. And I've seen a few of them go downhill, tell you.
I'm constantly concerned about future generations and the world that we live in today. I would like to see the children get back out and relate to nature more. So many people today are angry, there's so much grief, there's so many problems.
One thing that bothers me today is drugs, alcohol, and young people smoking, you know. Because that's what my eldest son passed away from. He got emphysema.
When I'm talking to my Indigenous people, I say, you know, a black man, Martin Luther King, he's a black American, and his legacy still lives on, and he said, I have a dream for my people that they will rise up and do what they want to do, because now in my life and in his life we had a lot of racism and prejudice in our schools and in our area of life.
So I've had problem with racism, but like I just sort of walked away from it. See, this is the problem with people now that get domestic violence. They want to stand up and prove a point. See? Okay, so somebody just starts to argue there now. They'll start arguing and arguing and arguing. Neither one's going to win, but then next thing you know, they're starting to have a punch-up. Where it never happened to me, I'd say to them, look, you've got your view on that, you stick to it, and I've got my view. And I said, what we'll do, I said, is just walk away and agree to disagree. See?
Don't let anyone put you off. If anyone tries to bully you, just ignore them. I always say to my little granddaughter, great-granddaughter, she always comes home and tells me, Nan, this girl at school points her finger at you all the time. I said, yeah, what class? She said, no, she's only in my class. She's only 6. Well, I said, well, you just point your finger back and say you're an Aboriginal person. Pretend it's a bone. Because she laughed. And she went back. She never come back telling me she got bullied anymore. So whether it got through or not's another question. No, I don't like kids bullying people. I don't even like my own grandkids bullying anybody. I don't believe in that.
To be strong and silent is not being weak. You know, if you know where you're coming from, if you're true to yourself and to your heart, you wouldn't let any of those things bother you, because you have a good sense of who you are and your identity, where you come from, is all important. And if you're given that as a foundation, you'll feel sorry for people like that, because they're lost.
I've had people come up to me and swear at me and that, you know. I say, okay, that's okay with me. Don't worry about it. I know who I am, I know where I come from, and I'm proud of who I am. So I said, if you've got a problem with me, I said, that's your problem, that's not mine. I haven't got any problem with me. See? And that's my whole outlook on life.
I always tell my son, Neil, I always say, when he's on the soccer field, he plays soccer. He just won the grand final. It was good last weekend. But I said, even you might get past someone, your mate, teammate, you might just pass you the ball. It's not a very good pass. But that's all right. You make something of that pass. And you go with it. You make something of it. So it seems in life, some things just happen in life. You just find yourself in a particular circumstance. Don't know why. It just happened. But make something of it.
In the old days, life was different. We seen big changes over time. We never used to have many choices about the way we lived our lives. We didn't have cars. We had to walk the town or go to the old bars down with Captain Tom. Worked the grain fields and we got bee stings. Went fruit picking or cleaning homes. We always went to school. We never missed a day. Rode the old-fashioned way with jars of ink. We caught the bars home. We go with Uncle. We always lost the time to play and think. Today we celebrate our reign of freedom. Let's end racism and inequity. We take the next step, keep moving forward until we're all the best that we can be. Until we're all the best that we can be. Yay!
I dreamed that 3 dreams, and I thought, that's an impossible dream. But they both 3 came into reality. Proud to say I'm the first black Aboriginal woman to be ordained in Australia.
I believe that if you want something strong enough, you'll do it.
I was with the elders when I was little, with all my brothers and sisters. They were around and they were very powerful people, very knowledgeable. And they teach you in such a way that you get your awareness. You work it out yourself and they'll get you to that point. And then when they're ready, you're on to the next thing with them. You don't dictate anything, you just sit quietly and have patience. And you'll be surprised how much you learn.
And my book says, talk softly and listen well. Well, that's my philosophy in life.
Talk softly, listen well. It wraps it up.
My son, for him and I want him to know about commitment. If he when he starts relationships and starts having kids of his own, I'm sure he knows this anyway by now, about him being a father to those kids and always being there for them and stuff like that. So commitment, keeping himself well mentally, that was a big issue for me, but I don't know how I'd done it, but I must have done it because I'm still kicking. And physically healthy, mentally healthy, and being the best parent you can be. I think that's important.
Dad brought all my kids up and I had 9 of them. 9 children, and not one of them ever back answered me, and they still don't back answer me today. You can ask any one of them you like. They all help. They were all brought up to help each other and like one another.
See, the young people today, they've got every opportunity. But what they're lacking is a little bit of explanation and understanding. This is what I find with young people. Parents just got no idea. They of explaining to children. Some of them might come home from school and say, "Oh, Dad, can you help me with my homework?" "Oh, no, I can't do that. Go and ask your mother." And mother probably would say the same. Well, what are these children going to do? They've got no nobody there to help them, and explain things to them. And I think that's the biggest thing of all, is explanation.
Well, the parents have got to take responsibilities of their own too, I think. They just can't expect the kids to be that. If they don't have responsibilities, the parents, and try and show something towards the kid, if you don't show them respect, the hell they won't show you any. So you've got to give them respect too.
Well, in my family, and in the immediate and extended family, that's how my generation was brought up, to respect your elders, and if you don't agree with what the elder is saying to you, it's okay to ask questions about what they're asking you to do. It's because that's part of growing up, and elders appreciate the questioning, and because they're passing on a knowledge. But don't ever be disrespectful. Don't ever say to an elder, well, don't swear or anything disrespectful. But it's okay to challenge and question what they're asking you to do. Yeah.
Oh, a lot of people are frightened elders, and when they come to the meeting down there, to our meeting, they only die before they get in there. And we always say, well, we're not going to eat you. And they're like, well, I always say that. I always say, well, we're not going to eat you because we're going to have lunch soon anyway. So, don't be frightened. So.
I had a thing with my son's teacher at school, probably a couple of years back, and I don't know, it's just something that happened. I didn't like it, and I was worried how my son would be affected. And then I was just talking with a friend, and she was asking a few questions about what happened, and it dawned on me, actually, I'm the most influential person in his life. And that was a big moment for me, and I just felt so much more confident. But actually I'm the most influential person. What I say he believes, pretty much. So, if I'm telling him, hey, you're a good boy and you did that right and good on you, and just praising him up, he believes that, so he'll be more confident of himself.
Ensuring your kids feel a part of something, being a part of a family. Doesn't matter if there's only two of you in the family, still feeling a part of it. And knowing that regardless of what happens, what they do in life, that someone will always care for them and love them.
And I always thought what my grandfather said, dream the impossible dream, it will keep on believing in yourself. So that would happen. And I did travel the world.
And it's just feeding your soul. That's what's missing. And it's the quiet, and things to do with nature. Every creature teaches you something. If you just sit there and observe them, you'll see, even with birds, how they care about their families. It's all there in nature. The ants, how diligent they are, etc., etc. You'll learn if you want to learn.
You'll see a seed being dropped, and then you'll see something growing, and then you'll see it get bigger, and then eventually it'll flower or fruit, and and it's just happening automatically. It's just happening, and it's there. And I guess, just for them to know that everything's provided for. You don't have to struggle too much.
What I'd like to be able to tell my children, look, before you do anything, think about it. And if it's wrong, just don't worry about it. It's nice and calm, and things will fall into place for you. That's what I found in my lifetime.
I try to keep a sense of my own self, I guess, and get out into nature, go for walks, go have a swim in the tea tree lake, just sit down by the ocean. The ocean is a very powerful healer. And they're the things that keep me going. I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I get satisfaction out of what I do, and if I don't, then I try and move on elsewhere. I can only stay so long in a situation that maybe isn't working, and then you have to think, well, someone else might be better in this position. I'll move on.
I would say you actually just have to follow your heart. People outside of you don't necessarily know what's right for you. People who don't have concern for you don't necessarily know what's right for you. Those, you have to follow your heart and just be true to yourself. Yeah, everything else will go on, but just be true to yourself.
Word I will speak to my young women: move on, go for what you want to do, and keep on dreaming, because that will eventually come true. Yeah.
One thing that I don't think there's enough of, just talking of spirit, for them to know about spirit, them being spirit beings.
Spirituality is a belief that you can't not have if you're Aboriginal, because it's inside, built inside, and it's very hard to explain away.
I got a totem, the white-tailed eagle, and if I see that white-tail flying around up there, I just talk to it in the language, and I feel that is my guiding light, my spirit, that white-tailed eagle. Yeah. And that's another thing that keeps me on track.
We're here to, that's, the learning just goes on. It just happens. Yeah. And, and I guess I found that I have more and more faith in that. I don't worry so much about the kids. I just know, they're all right, and the spirits, and big fella, and they'll put them where they need to be. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah.
Everyone likes to be able to know that and fulfil their satisfaction of knowing themselves. You can't if you don't know where you're from.
For Aboriginal people, it's important to maintain the connection to country, to where you come from. If you don't know where you come from, find a country that feels good to you. It makes you feel okay about being there.
Even at the worst times, there's always somewhere that you can sit quietly. The main thing is getting away from people where people would like, would like you to be talking and talking and talking all the time. And you really need to just sometimes sit and listen, and not necessarily to people, but just listen to the sounds of life. And if they would leave you alone for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, then you can get out and sit quietly and listen. Just listen to nature.
If I'm going somewhere and something happens, I can't get there, I just sit down and say to myself, well, you weren't to be there. There's something wrong. You weren't to be there. That's why that thing happened to you on the way there. See?
Come what may, we may have all these obstacles. I did that. I fought against the odds and the obstacle, and especially in my Aboriginal field, where it said men don't like women moving on. But that's what I said. Just keep on keeping on. Well, yeah, keep on keeping on. Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. You've got to have a bit of fun. If you're not going to have a bit of fun, you'll be dead before your time.
Being Aboriginal is not about the colour of your skin, because in my family we have blonde hair, redheads with freckles, and we're all shades of the rainbow basically, but we're all Aboriginal and we all have a spiritual connection.
Having culture in your life, and it's helped me a lot, because I grew up with, when I went to school in Tabulum, I had an old fellow there, I called him grandfather. He's an old tribal man, he taught me a lot. And one of the things he did teach me was respect. You got to have respect for yourself. You have respect for others and the country you live in and everything that's in it, you know.
Both ways, whether it's Indigenous or non-Indigenous, people have their issues, but underneath it all, we're all good people. I try to stay positive. That's the only way I can get through things.
I think the secret is, as I've been told and I've experienced a bit, that actually, often this love and this care and service to others, we want that for ourselves. We think that'll make us happy. But I've found that actually serving others and loving others, that's what makes us happy. It's odd how it works. But actually, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so that's been beautiful. And so just, I'd love to let my kids to know that, that actually the happiness is in giving of yourself, not necessarily taken from others.
Be kind to each other, be gentle. It's very important in this world today with all the aggression and the violence. Bring it back to your heart. Do some nice, be nice to someone in your travels, just for the heck of it. Share something, just because you want to, and that'll come back to you tenfold. Even a smile. Yeah.
Count the stars and taste the rain.
Have a go, be well, be healthy, and think positive, because if you don't have a go, you're never going to know.
Be yourself, know yourself, and the future will look after itself.
Respect is still very important and will always be important. Respect yourself, respect others, respect nature.
I'd like them to get up, and whatever they'd like to do, I'd like them to go for it. I don't want them to be sitting back thinking they're going to get hurt, because they probably won't.
I pray and hope that whoever's our young ones will do the same. Just go for what they want to be in life. And I did, and I achieved it. Thank you.
Bukulana Nilma, that means be good. Kunanganya jajam, Bukulana. My young people, be good.
You're my son, and you're my daughter, and I love you and I always love you. Know that you are always loved. Know that you're always cared for. Know that you're a strong spirit being, and I trust you that you'll be okay. And you'll walk tall in this world, and you'll do the right thing. And listen to your heart. Listen deep, because the answers to what you need are there. It'll come to you, whether it comes from internally or some message from a friend or the birds or you'll get the message. And you'll be all right, and you'll be okay. And just know you're always loved.
Belong.